Trojan family, Trojan gang. Mr. Fight On Forever's in the building. And today, we about to talk about the Purdue Boilermakers, right? The preseason over, right? You know what I'm saying? It's time for some real football. It's time for some conference football. It's time for some Big Ten football. And we gonna really be able to judge USC after this game. Yes, USC gonna be tested. Yes, by Purdue. USC will be tested. Why? Because Purdue got some NFL players on their team. They got some players that look nice on their team. They got Barry Odom out of UNLV, a great coach on their team. And they little 2 preseason games, they look nice too. They look decent too. So let's get into the Purdue Boilermakers and this scouting report that only Carter Sports could bring to y'all. Like, I should do this more. I should show my IQ a little bit more on the sport. You know what I'm saying? But let's go, right? So let's get into this scouting report with Purdue. Like, the Boilermakers, we already know they in the rebuilding phase. Under new coach Barry Odom, like I told y'all, who joined the team after his successful stint at UNLV. This was Jada Mayava coach. This is another reason why this gonna be a challenge. He know Jada Mayava. He know his abilities and tendencies and whatnot. That's an advantage. Purdue, right? They coach used to be the coach of our quarterback, right? Now, Purdue win total for this season, this has fluctuated. But currently it's set at 2.5, which I believe is a little bit too low, right? Especially for a power conference team. However, there's some optimism that Purdue could, exceed this projected total. I believe they could too, particularly if the new coaching staff improves this team's weekly preparation and the players buy into this program. Now, the team, they schedule is challenging, you know what I'm saying? They featuring multiple top-tier teams in the big, while Purdue, they have lost some notable transfer players. Y'all can look that up. The team has also brought in several transfers who could potentially make an impact this season, right? Now, their best player so far this season got to be the running back, right? Devin Maccabee. Check out Devin Maccabee. He anticipated to be a key player for the Boilermakers this season. He has accumulated over 2,200 yards and 19 touchdowns in his career. For Maccabee to reach his full potential this season, though, the passing games need to be, effective to prevent them defenses from focusing solely on the run, right? If he ain't got to go against an 8-man box all season, he gonna get off. Devin Maccabee is a player. They starting running back is a player. We got to watch for him. He could gash us. He could do his thing. He could get out there in that field, right? He could play. Right now, they scheme. I don't really know what specific offensive scheme that they playing, but they got Josh Henson, right? He their new offensive coordinator, so I gotta believe that he's gonna have shades and similarities to the Lincoln Riley offense. I mean, that's who he been under basically his whole coaching career, right? He got a good relationship with Coach Barry Odom, so they gonna be aligned in what they doing, man. So Josh Henson, being he's a protege of Lincoln Riley. So his offense gonna have Lincoln Riley air raid tendencies to it. Now that's an advantage to us as well, right? Deontai Lynn know this Lincoln Riley offensive system. He faces it every day in practice. It's going on his 2nd year, right? So I expect to see a similar type offense that we running that Purdue gonna really bring out. Now, they being vanilla with the play calling and the offense for them preseason games, just like us. But don't be surprised to see a Lincoln-style offense, but a run-first offense for sure. It's gonna be run-first, but expect to see similar formations and concepts and schemes that we use, right? Now, the quarterback position, it was coming into this season at some type of uncertainty, despite the return of Ryan Brown, who will be learning a new offensive system, right? Additionally, Purdue has brought in transfer quarterbacks Malachi Singleton and Evans Chuba. Now, Ryan Brown, he looked good this year. I think he got 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. Look like he throw a nice ball. Look like he got some accuracy. He looked decent. He don't look that bad. Preseason competitions, but 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. He did what he's supposed to do. against these teams, right? So we can't slouch on their quarterback. He's mobile as well. You know, if nobody there, he can take it off and run. He's not a Caleb or Lamar Jackson. But if it ain't there, he can run. He got a running touchdown already, like 20-yard running touchdown. We got to watch him with the scramble as well, right? Now, they running backs, we already talked about that. The wide receiver group struggled last season, but they got transferred Nitro Tuggle, right, out of Georgia, transfer wide receiver, and Corey Smith are seen as potential impact players. You also got Armand Branch. He's nice too. He got 2 touchdowns this year. He got a game where he had 3 catches for 101 yards. Both got speed. Both can make big plays. Now, these receivers going to test our DBs. Like I said, we going to beat Purdue. We should beat Purdue for sure. But they got players that going to test us. First of all, they running back and they running game going to test us. Our run defense is going to get tested with Maccabee, right? And then our DBs is going to be tested with Nitro Tuggle, Armand Branch, Corey Smith, guys like that. It's going to be tested, right? We going to see it because these guys can play. Tuggle, Branch, Smith, they can play at receiver. So if we got a weakness in there, we will see that. We going to see them making plays. You know what I'm saying? They might score some points as well. Now, the offensive line has showed some improvement during these first little 2 games. You know, they added several transfer offensive linemen like Jalen St. John, Drew Mikowski, Tyrell Green, Braden Joner, players like that, right? Now, the defensive scheme, the coordinator is Mike Scher, right, who previously worked with Barry Odom at UNLV. He emphasizes competition and development within the defense. Now, the defensive line at ends is going to kind of, you know, test our tackles as well. They're going to face some decent competition, right? The projected starters at defensive end are Trey Smith and C.J. Madden. Trey Smith, he been looking like the best D lineman, D lineman player they got out there. You know what I'm saying? C.J. Madden, he's noted for his size and experience as an all-conference player in the MAC. Right now, the secondary is considered the most experienced part of the defense. So we gonna see if they could challenge our wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? Particularly not named Jacoby and Makai. Like, I don't think nobody can stop them. But hey, maybe they could compete. This is the most experienced part of their defense, with multiple players expected to contribute at cornerback. You know what I'm saying? The defensive coordinator describes a lot of their DBs, especially Medora, as a long, fast, and rangy corner with versatile potential. He also, the D coordinator, also is a linebacker coach as well. So they got some players and they got some pieces that are tested. That defensive line gonna give us some looks, right? They DBs gonna give us some looks. They gonna try to run the ball. They wide receivers gonna be able to test our DBs here and there. I don't think they necessarily a threat to win unless we have turnovers, unless we inept, unless we have a bad game, just to our standard. And we play up to our potential or near our potential, and they no disasters with penalties, play calling, bad calls by the refs, something like that, we gonna win this game. But they could show us a precursor of our weakness. They could show us how weak our weakness is. Like, so we questioning, can our tackles really hold up against the elite defensive ends? Now, they may not have elite defensive ends, but they got defensive ends good enough. If we can't handle elite players, it's going to show against them in certain plays. They're going to have it's going to be a back and forth war. Like, if we can handle elite defensive ends, we'll be able to handle this. It wouldn't be a problem. We wouldn't lead this game feeling like the defensive ends was getting pressure on Mayava. If they do, we'll know. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with our DBs. They wide receivers is good enough to let us know if our DBs is mid or they good, right? If these wide receivers kind of get off, we might be mid at this point in the season, right? It's real competition we can judge, not like Georgia State and Missouri State, where we like, okay, competition level, stand focused every play, rotating players in and out, assignments, gashes, you know, only a couple of bad plays each game. This gonna show us, gonna be a real test, especially for certain units, especially for our DBs and our defensive line to a certain extent as well, because they're gonna try to run their best players a running back, right? They got questions with their quarterback, even though he looking good so far this season, they probably be careful with him. They ain't going to want to throw the ball 50, 40 times with him. So they going to test our run game, and they got some players that could do that. And just like I said, defensive linemen, even on the interior, not just the tackles, even on the interior, they're going to be able to test if Keelan O'Connor ready. They got Jamar J. Lewis, a defensive lineman. He had transferred there, right? He was highly touted coming out of high school. He a player. He had visited USC. USC, Coach Henny wanted Jamar J. Lewis, right? So they got players that be able to test us. They got somebody else. I'm forgetting somebody else that they got on the D-line too. They got somebody else on the D-line that going to give us a test. Oh, they also got a nice DB. Speaking of their DBs, they got Tony Grimes. Tony Grimes, that's another player. He transferred out of North Carolina. He got an NFL grade. He's going to the NFL. Tony Grimes is going to the NFL. Jamar J. Lewis is too. Both of these guys was looked at USC. We wanted Tony Grimes. I remember doing a video about him. He's a good player at DB. So we could really see, I would like to see him go against Makai and Jacoby. Gonna get them run and at least get us ready for higher competition. Purdue is a good step to get us ready for higher competition. Not that quite Ohio State, Penn State yet, but enough for us to sharpen our iron, like iron sharpens iron. So Tony Grimes is gonna be able to sharpen Makai and Jacoby iron. DeMar J. Lewis and some of these defensive ends gonna be able to sharpen Elijah Page and JT iron. You know what I'm saying? They offensive line with them transfers and how they gonna try to run the ball. They got Barry Odom over there, so you know they're gonna be good coach. You got John Simpson over there. You know their offense is gonna be dynamic. Him being a Lincoln Riley protege. So man, they gonna be able to test us. They gonna be able to sharpen our iron a little bit. We should come out and handle business, but they got certain players, like I said, Tony Grimes, DeMar J. Lewis, the running back, Devin Huckabee, Devin Mockabee, right? They got some players on this team, some NFL talent, some good coaches that gonna give us another level of testing. And then that's when we gonna really start. I'm gonna really give my opinion where I think USC ranked in this thing against Purdue. If USC ranked just in the season in particular, where I think we going. I see some people see these two games and some projecting 8-4 from what they seen, and 9-3 all the way to 13-0. This game, I think I would be able to give a projection on win total, right? A projection on win total, because a couple of individuals, a couple units is going to be tested. That's question marks. Purdue is good enough to heat up the water, good enough to see what's cooking in that thing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited to see this game. I'm excited to see a road game. I like that too. Bumping the competition and you out your environment on the road, team bonding, time to get it together. I really don't want to see as many mistakes. This is the game, a conference game. Purdue, they gonna have their crowd there. This is the game where we should be locked in, right? Gonna be the third game of the season. I don't want to see mistakes. I don't want to see busted coverages, blown coverages, none of that, right? I want to see a clean game, and ain't nothing wrong with that. You can have a clean game. So what y'all think, man? Purdue, don't sleep on Purdue. This ain't a Missouri State, a Georgia State. I don't think they're a threat to beat us, but we gonna see some better competition. It ain't gonna be this easy. You know what I'm saying? Just like I said, we gonna have players and position units that's gonna be challenged. But, talent and the cream gonna rise to the top. We gonna win. But I want to see how convincingly we win. And I want to see how these certain units handle this Purdue team, because they got some NFL players over there. So what y'all think, man? It's Carter family. It's Carter gang. It's SC. The season is actually really starting now. There were 2 preseason games. Them games is made up for all the practices we didn't see and the spring game we didn't see. Now it's time for the real games in the real season. Starting Saturday against Purdue, man. I see y'all there. I'll probably do a live or a post game. And we finna get rocking and rolling. The USC content going back up. Because like I said, the season is really starting right now. So until then, man, I'm gone.